Thank you very much. It's an honor to have a friend of mine here, Viktor Orban, the Prime Minister of Hungary, and he's done a fantastic job. He's a very powerful man within his country, but he's also beloved. Probably has a couple of things that I don't know about, maybe that I don't want to know about, but he's a very special person. I've known him for a long time. We're going to be talking trade. We're going to be talking a little bit of Russia, Ukraine. We'll be talking about energy and energy prices. We have energy down to a pretty low point right now in the United States. We're drilling, drill baby drill, we call it, but energy costs are very low. Our general costs are very low. And I just saw that Walmart came out with a statement last night. They've done it for many years, that Thanksgiving this year will cost 25% less than Thanksgiving last year under Sleepy Joe Biden. So that's a big difference. That's a big difference. 25% less Thanksgiving. And I think that's a very good chart. They include everything that you need for Thanksgiving. So it's 25% less this year than it was last year. And that's true. That's emblematic of the rest of prices. Energy prices are way down from what they were last year. Inflation is almost non-existent. We have inflation down to a very low number. Whereas Biden, as you know, is the worst inflation in the history of our country. So we're doing very well. We have a shutdown, as you probably know, because the Democrats have gone, they're crazy. They're crazy. But they don't care if they hurt the country. But we've approved it 14 times. We've approved opening up 14 times, and they keep rejecting it. And I guess maybe they will again. Let's see what happens. They want to have a lot of bad things happen. Bad things for our country. We're not going to give $1.5 trillion to people that came into our country illegally. We're not going to do it. To people who came from prisons, they came from mental institutions, they're drug dealers, and they want to give them medical care. $1.5 trillion. And we're not going to do other things that they're requesting also. So I just want to welcome this really good person. I know him very well. He's a good person. And he's a great leader, and he's loved in his country. And Viktor, would you like to say a few words?
Thank you very much, President.
Thank you.
First of all, may I say that thank you very much for the invitation. It's good to see you, President, back to the White House. And good to be back after 6 years, anyway, again, to see you here.
Yeah.
As we have met last time. The reason why we are here to open a new chapter between the bilateral relation of the United States and Hungary, basically because during the Democrat administration, everything was ruined. So after your leaving president, everything was basically broke, ruined, cancelled, a lot of harm done by the previous administration. In the last 10 months, President, what you have done, we are very much grateful for that. You restored the old level of the relationship. You improved the bilateral relation. You repair what was done badly by the previous administration. So now we are in quite a good position to open up a new chapter, let's say a golden age between United States and Hungary. And we have plenty of suggestions for today: economic cooperation, military cooperation, and political cooperation. And the main issue, probably, President, you know, we are neighboring Ukraine,
sure,
which is in war. It's the most important issue for us, and we would like to discuss with you how we can contribute to help you in your peace efforts.
That's why we are here. You've taken a lot of Ukrainians that needed your help, and you've taken a lot of them in your country, and everybody appreciates that.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we do our best.
Thank you very much. Any questions, please? Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Orban has requested an exemption as it relates to oil that is coming from Russia. Is that something that you are prepared to do? And may I ask Mr. Orban a question in regards to that very issue?
Sure. We're looking at it because it's very difficult for him to get the oil and gas from other areas. As you know, they don't have the advantage of having sea. It's a great country. It's a big country, but they don't have sea. They don't have the ports. And so they have a difficult problem. There's another country that has that same problem, by the way. But when you look at what's happened with Europe, many of those countries, they don't have those problems. And they buy a lot of oil and gas from Russia. And as they know, I'm very disturbed by that because we're helping them and they're going and buying oil and gas from Russia. So that question could be really asked maybe more accurately if you talked about many European countries, not Hungary necessarily, because Hungary is in a different position, but many European countries are buying oil and gas from Russia, and they have been for years. And I say, what's that all about, right? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Orban.
So that will be one of the issues for
Yeah.
today, to explain clearly what would be the consequences for the Hungarian.
Escuchamos a Donald Trump, el presidente de Estados Unidos, que pega el primer palo a Europa. A los países europeos dice que Hungría tiene necesidad de comprar el gas y el petróleo, básicamente pues, por cómo está posicionado, por su lugar en el mapa, pero que hay muchos países europeos que están comprando gas y petróleo y que no están en la misma posición. Remarcaba también Trump hace apenas unos minutos cómo Orbán, cómo Hungría ha acogido a muchos ucranianos que han huido de su país. Vamos a seguir escuchando estos mensajes de Trump y de Orbán.
As a result, why would we need an exemption if that's the case?
So when we discuss that issue, you should separate the gas and the oil. On the gas issue, which is very important for us, 90% of the Hungarian households based on heating system based on gas. So we have only one pipeline delivering gas to Hungary, which is the main pipeline, the Turkish one. What we got from Croatia is a very small volume supplementary gas pipeline. Okay, that's gas. Oil is another issue. So oil is coming from the Druzhba pipeline, which is the main supply, and that is the Croatian one, which is the secondary and supplementary pipeline. We would like to convince the Croatian government to enlarge it and make it possible to deliver more. Under these circumstances, it cannot be the main pipeline. It's just supplementary. But later on, with some big investments, it could serve better the interest of Hungary.
Yes, please, go ahead.
President, thank you. Many people see this mission not just as an encounter between two countries, but as the symbol of the strengthening of the new conservative world alliance. Would you agree with that interpretation? And how do you see the future of Europe in the light of leaders like Viktor Orban stand up to Brussels bureaucracy and the globalist agenda?
Are you from Hungary?
Yes, I am.
I figured. The fact is that he's a great leader, and he's respected all over, not necessarily liked by some of the leaders, but, you know, those leaders have proven to be wrong. If you look at his stance on immigration and other things, you know, if you look at Europe, they've made tremendous mistakes on immigration. It's really hurting them very badly. He has not made a mistake on immigration. So he's respected by everybody. He's liked by some. And I can tell you, I like and respect. I'm a double. I like and respect him. And that's the way Hungary is being led. They're being led properly. And that's why he's going to be very successful in his upcoming election.
May I have a comment
Please.
on that? You know, language is important because the Anglo-Saxon terminology is different from the European one. So to use categories can create some misunderstanding. So I would like to be clear as much as we can. We are the only government in Europe which consider itself as a modern Christian government. All the other governments in Europe are basically liberal leftist governments. So we try to do something from 2010, which is different from what the others are doing, even at the philosophical level.
Seguimos atentos a esta comparecencia, esta reunión entre Donald Trump y Viktor Orbán, de nuevo con mensajes para Europa. Decía hace apenas unos minutos el propio Trump, bueno, pues que estaba considerando alguna exención para Hungría, sobre todo por la dificultad que tiene para comprar gas y petróleo. Ahora está hablando sobre la inmigración. Dice Trump que Europa ha cometido errores catastróficos en este sentido, pero que Hungría, bueno, pues es pionera en este sentido. Dice que Orbán sí que está haciendo las cosas bien. Seguimos escuchando a Donald Trump.
We were talking about that with Victor. He understands Putin and knows him very well. And I feel that, I mean, I'm going to let you say what you think, but I think that Victor feels we're going to get that war ended in the not too distant future. Victor, do you want to talk about that?
I'm strongly convinced. So the question is whether we Westerners are unified or not. The problem is that the president has huge peace efforts, which are just splendid and very positive for the European continent and all the peoples of Europe. But at the same time, we are not unified because Brussels and the Europeans have a different approach to the war. So the only pro-peace government is the United States government and the small Hungary in Europe anyway. All the other governments prefer to continue the war because many of them think that Ukraine can win on the front line, which is a misunderstanding of the situation. So it's a complicated issue. We will discuss it. It requests not just 2 minutes to respond to your question, but rather than our lecture. Sorry, not to continue more.
To both of you,
So you would say that
will that be
Ukraine cannot win that war?
You know, miracle can happen.
Yeah, that's right.
To both of you, will that be a
Yeah, go
peace
ahead.
summit?
Thank you, Mr. President. What is your message?
Escuchamos ahora a Trump y a Orbán hablando sobre la guerra en Ucrania. Decía el propio Trump, bueno, pues que están hablando de reuniones con el presidente ruso, con Vladimir Putin. Ahora preguntaba directamente a Víctor Orbán si cree que Ucrania no puede ganar la guerra. Decía Orbán, bueno, los milagros pueden ocurrir. Parece que ambos, bueno, pues están de acuerdo en este sentido, que en reuniones quieren acabar la guerra, pero piensan que Ucrania no puede ganarla.
The crime rates are way up. A lot of bad things are happening. His crime rates are very low. They're the same as they always were, which is very little crime, because he's kept it the way it should be. Europe, I mean, I don't want to go into individual countries. They're all friends of mine, everyone. As you know, in NATO, they voted to go from 2% to 5%, and you know that nobody thought that was possible. And we had just about almost, other than Spain, a unanimous vote. No, I think that I think they respect him a lot. They don't agree with him, but actually, inwardly, I think they probably do agree. What he was right on immigration. They were wrong. They are flooding Europe with people from all over the world, and Europe is becoming a different place. And I tell the leaders all the time, you better stop or you're not going to have Europe anymore. It's a very dangerous thing they're doing.
May I have a reflection on that? So on migration issue, just for clarification, in Hungary, the number of illegal migration is like that, zero, because we have a crystal clear system. If somebody would like to come to Hungary, first he should ask for that. If you give the permission, they can step in. Nobody can step on the territory of Hungary without having a permission from the Hungarian authorities. This is the regulation, simple while working. What is the consequence of that? We are under sanctions, financial sanctions of European Union, because we don't let the illegal migrations to come to Hungary and to the European Union as well. So we have to pay, just to inform you, we have to pay every day 1 million euro as a punishment to the Brazilian budget, because they stop the migrants. This is the absurd world we are living now in Europe.
Mr. President,
To both of you.
Go ahead, please.
Will,
Yes,
Thank
go
you
ahead.
so much. Thank you. I'd like to ask what do you think, what do you believe after this meeting? Can you have maybe, or the European Union will have another opinion about, just because of this penalty, another opinion about Hungary because of the immigration and because of this kind of politics, which is not that strictly as the European Union directs. What do you believe?
Yeah, where are you from?
I'm from Hungary.
Okay. I do have that conversation with them, and I respect and like them. You know, they're all friends of mine. I think pretty much every single leader in Europe is a friend of mine. We get along really well. They've done everything I've asked them to do with NATO, etc. The only thing they continue to do is buy oil from Russia. That's not too good. But I told them they should respect this man. They can also learn from Victor. Victor has had a very hard stance on, more than anything else, immigration or even illegal immigration. He literally has accepted no one over the years. Think of how much greater these countries would be if they didn't have the tremendous crime that has come in with the immigration. People just flowing into Europe. They've got to stop it. And not only stop it, they have to reverse it. They have to get them out. We've done that here. We have 0 people coming in now. The borders are closed. We take people, but we take them legally. But we've done it very strongly, and we're moving hundreds of thousands, millions of people out. We had, of the 20 million people, 25 million, nobody knows even what the number is. They never knew. Biden had no idea. He had no idea. I don't believe he had any idea what was happening, because he wasn't about open borders. But we had open borders, and we had millions of people come in, and they were coming in from jails. They were coming in from mental institutions. They were coming in as drug dealers. We had 11,888 murderers. Half of them committed more than one murder. We're getting them all out. We're getting them out. He doesn't have that problem, but Europe does have that problem. Other parts of Europe have that problem. So, I tell them all the time, I stick up for Viktor Orban. Not a lot of people do because in many cases they're jealous. They wish they did what he did. They would have no problems if they did what he did. And I have a bigger heart than anybody, but, they've destroyed some of those countries. Some of those countries had no crime 10 years ago, and now they have quite a bit of crime. And I would say that I don't know anything about your crime levels, but I would imagine they're very low.
Down.
Huh?
They're very
Not
down.
too high, right?
No, it's very down. One of the best in Europe.
I had a feeling.
Sorry, may I have one remark?
Sure, please.
No. Just a clarification as well. I'm not here to ask help President Trump to manage my conflicts or our conflicts with the European Union. This is our matter, so we will do it. What we need is a golden age, to open a golden age of the United States-Hungary relationship. That's the biggest help we can get from United
And maybe
States.
Europe too. We can include Europe, but it's going to get more difficult.
So inside the European Union, we will manage all of our affairs. To be the most possible humble guy, yeah? But I'm the longest-serving Prime Minister of Europe. I survived all the Prime Ministers who attacked us. And I'm sure we will survive next years as well. So we will manage our conflicts successfully.
Mr. President,
one question for you, Mr. President. One question for the Prime Minister. Speaking of Europe, last month you said that you would not withdraw U.S. troops from Europe. Yet, 2 weeks later, the Pentagon decided to withdraw significant number of troops from Romania. So have you changed your mind, or the Pentagon ignored your assurance?
No, they don't ignore anything that I say. What they do is we make changes. We move. It's the same number, total number, but we move people around. I happen to like the Romanian people. I think they're great people. And Pete, you may want to suggest something right there, please.
Absolutely. No, nothing was uncoordinated with the White House. It's all part of the view that we have of Europe, and there will remain troops in Romania, but there's some change in how we rotate and how many we rotate.
And the relationship with Romania is very good, right?
Very good, and we've coordinated all this with Secretary General Rutte, throughout EUCOM, throughout our allies. Everyone was notified in advance.
The relationship with Romania is very good. The relationship with Europe is very good. I disagree with what Europe is doing having to do with immigration, but I agree with them on many other subjects. We just signed the biggest trade deal ever made with Europe, $950 billion. We were able to do it because of tariffs. It was a deal that was good, very good, but we had a very unfair deal. We were treated very badly before I came into office, but we just signed. It's the single biggest trade deal ever signed. So we have a very good relationship with Europe. Yeah.
What is the main dispute with the Russians which prevent the Budapest summit with Putin from taking place?
The basic dispute is they just don't want to stop yet. And I think they will. I think it's taken a big toll on Russia, big toll on both countries, obviously, but it's taken a big toll. They're losing 7,000 soldiers a week. That's a big toll. And between the two of them, divided, with Russia losing more soldiers, actually. But they're both losing a lot of people. And that's the primary thing that with me, it's not economic, it's not money. In fact, we don't spend any money. We send it to NATO. They pay us for our missiles and for our military and everything else. It's not a question of money. It was with Biden. He spent $350 billion. He got nothing for it. The war would have never happened. If I were president, the war would have never happened. I think you would agree with that. This war would never have happened if I were president. It's stupid that it happened, but it did happen. I inherited the war, and I think we're going to get it ended not too distant future.
Mr. President,
Yes, please.
So no question that if that time the name of the United States president would have been
Escuchamos de nuevo a Donald Trump, al presidente de Estados Unidos, incidiendo en este mensaje de que la guerra en Ucrania va a terminar en un futuro no muy lejano. Ha dicho una vez más que esta guerra no habría empezado nunca si lo hubiera sido el presidente de Estados Unidos. Se le preguntaban cuál era el mayor punto de disputa con los rusos. ¿Por qué no se celebra esta cumbre en Budapest? Dice Trump, bueno, pues que Rusia no quiere parar todavía esta guerra. Vamos a escuchar también los mensajes de Víctor Orbán.
To be more pro-war in Europe. So that's the fact of the history anyway. So we have to restore something which was ruined and created from here, and that's the reason why I understand absolutely the devotion of the president now to do everything to stop the war, because that would be not that deep without the previous government pressure from here. So the reason why I'm here to be as much as helpful I can to contribute to the peace efforts of the president, because that was an enormous mistake what we have done, I mean, the Western world several years ago, and we have to stop it, and it's common responsibility.
Biden actually pushed for that war to happen. Okay, if you can believe it. Nobody can believe it, but it's one of those things. And now look what happened. Look what's happened to Ukraine. It's a much smaller country. A lot of people are dead. You take a look at it's a whole different world over there, and Russia has not been helped very much by that war either. They lost a tremendous number of soldiers and people. And, you know, look, that war should have been a 1 week war. I don't know why it's taken. This is 4 years. Should have been 1 week. Should have been over with, but it would have never started. Should have never started. And I would have solved the problem without giving up anything. Ukraine would have remained as is. So there were tremendous mistakes long before I got there. I inherited that mess, and we're getting it solved, along with the 8 wars that we've already ended.
Mr. President,
What is America's interest cultivating better relations with EU leader or Orbán?
I think I can do both. I mean, there's no reason why I can't. I get along well with the European nations.
He is still a member of the European Union, so it's easy.
Yeah, and by the way, he's a member in good standing, I guess, although they penalize him every once in a while. But he's a member in good standing with the European Union, so he's a member. He's a part of it. But I get along great with him. I get along very well with them. I agree with him on immigration much more than I agree with them. But I agree with, a lot of the things in Europe he also agrees with. But he had a difference, I would say, primarily on immigration more than anything else. And I happen to think he was right, because their whole fabric has changed. I mean, you go to some of the countries, they're unrecognizable now because of what they've done. And Hungary is very recognizable. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. President.
yes, Mr. President, will there be a peaceful meeting in Budapest still this year? What do you think?
You mean a meeting with President Putin?
Yes.
You mean in Hungary? Well, I'd like to keep it in Hungary, in Budapest. That meeting, it turned out I didn't want to do that meeting because I didn't think anything was going to be happening of significance. But if we have it, I'd like to do it in Budapest. Yeah, it'd be good.
Mr. President, you said many times to support Viktor Orbán. Why is it important to win the next election, for example, for the United States, Hungary, and also Europe? Why is it important?
Well, I don't know his opponent. I don't know if he has an opponent yet. At some point he will, I guess. We always have opponents,
always.
right? Not much of an opponent. But I'll be supportive of him. He's done a fantastic job. We've had a great relationship. The United States, look, we had a country that had no leader. It had an auto pen, illegal auto pen, totally illegal. And that's coming out stronger and stronger.
Seguimos escuchando a Donald Trump, el presidente de Estados Unidos, hablando sobre la guerra en Ucrania, hablando sobre que Rusia no quiere parar esta guerra. Hemos escuchado también a Víctor Orbán hablando de sus disputas con la Unión Europea. Les decíamos, la clave estaba en esta cumbre en Budapest. Pues sobre esto está hablando Donald Trump. Dice que no quiso reunirse hace unas semanas porque no veía ningún cambio significativo, pero que en el caso de que se reúna con Vladimir Putin, quiere seguir reuniéndose en Budapest. Mantiene el lugar, mantiene que querría reunirse con el presidente ruso. Dice que ahora mismo el principal obstáculo es que Rusia no quiere parar esta guerra.
Victor is one of the people that's highly respected, and we had a great relationship with Hungary. We do again. That was an easy one. Yeah.
Do you and Prime Minister Orbán agree on ways to put pressure on President Putin to come to the negotiating table to end the war in Ukraine?
I think we agree that the war is going to end Sometimes people have to fight it out a little bit longer, but I think we agree that the war is going to end in the not too distant future. Do you want to talk about that, Victor?
I have some ideas, and I will present it to the president. How to stop it.
Mr. Prime Minister.
Mr. President, since you brought up the Walmart Thanksgiving meal,
Yeah.
and it is cheaper, but it also contains less. As a board of
Well, I haven't heard that. You're telling me. Who are you with? Who are you with?
I'm with NBC News, sir.
Fake news. NBC. You're fake news. What a NBC's gone down the tubes along with most of the rest of them.
If I may ask, why do you think there's such a disconnect between the economy that you're describing day to day and the way many Americans say they are feeling and are concerned about?
Well, they feel better about our country right now, other than the shutdown, obviously, which is caused by the Democrats, could be ended by the Democrats in 2 minutes. They feel much better. We have more jobs. We just set a record on jobs. You do know that. We have more investment in our country than any country in history. We're over $18 trillion as of this moment, and we're going to be maybe at 20 or 21 trillion by the time I finish up my first year. And there's been no country, China, no country in the world that's done anywhere even close to that number. Your friend Biden, as an example, in 4 years was less than $1 trillion. We'll be at 21 trillion in 1 year. So there's no country that was even close to that, and our country was a laughing stock all over the world. We have more jobs, we have more potential than any other country, and frankly, we're the hottest country right now. Victor said to me before, we're the hottest country anywhere in the world. Think of it. We'll have $21 trillion invested. We have auto plants pouring back in. We have AI pouring back in. We're leading China in AI by a lot. We're leading everybody in every category. There's no category that we're in second place. So I just heard this yesterday that Walmart said that the Thanksgiving was 25% more expensive under Biden. That's a big, to me, that's a big number, because Walmart's respected. I mean, Walmart is Walmart, and, you know, they're giving you prices. So that would mean that the whole series of pricing and costs, you know, the groceries and everything else, it was a con job. It was a con job. Affordability, they call it, was a con job by the Democrats. The Democrats are good at a few things: cheating on elections and conning people with facts that aren't true. It was 25%. Walmart just announced it 2 days ago. 25% cheaper this year, will be cheaper to have Thanksgiving than it was a year ago under Sleepy Joe Biden.
You say that affordability is a con job, as you put it.
Say it.
You said affordability was a con job, and you didn't want to. You said last night you didn't want to talk about affordability.
I talked about it. When did I not want to talk about it? I talk about it all the time. We are much better than Biden and all of them. Now, just so you understand, do you remember that the Biden administration had the highest inflation in 48 years, but most people say ever recorded? Do you remember that? Right? Do you remember it? Did they have the highest inflation in 48 years? Did they? Just answer me the question. You know the answer. The answer is yes. They had the worst inflation in 48 years. We have almost no inflation. We're down now to 2%, and we'll be at maybe 1%. You want to always stay above 1%, actually. You want a little tiny bit of inflation. We're at a perfect number. They were at the highest level in recorded history, okay? And when you talk about affordability, that one fact. Now, let's talk about the second biggest subject after inflation, energy. We're going to be at $2 gasoline. We're going to be approximately $2 very soon. We're a little bit above $2 right now for gasoline. Now, under Biden, it was $4.50. It even hit $5, but it was $4, $3.50. We're going to be at $2 a gallon. So gasoline's much less. Energy costs are less. When you have energy and when you have gasoline less, everything else follows. It's such a big category. So when you have lower energy prices, which I think you admit we do substantially, that means everything else. So we are the victors on affordability. But if I watched that election, which I was not much involved in, I didn't support Virginia, the candidate, didn't do a lot of support for the other candidates. They asked me about Cuomo, and I said, well, it's a question, do you want a thug or do you want a communist? I mean, that was my response. So I wasn't involved in that stuff too much. But I will say this, if you look at affordability, which they campaigned on, they lied because they talked about, oh, prices are up. No, prices are down under the Trump administration, and they're down substantially. Energy prices are down by 30, 35, 40%. Gasoline is way down. And the other big thing is inflation is way down. The biggest thing is inflation. The second biggest thing is energy. Energy is way down. And what's also down? Gasoline. Also, the biggest thing is inflation, and it's way down. We took over a mess, the highest inflation in recorded history. Some people would say 48 years. I'll take either one of them. But I believe it's the highest inflation in recorded history. That alone makes it impossible for them to have done a good job affordability-wise. So one other thing. When I came into office, Victor, 2 days into office, they were screaming at me about the cost of eggs. I was there for 2 days. Eggs had quadrupled. And I said, listen, I just got here. Let me check it out. And they were right. Eggs had gone up by 3.
Seguimos escuchando a Donald Trump, el presidente de Estados Unidos, respondiendo a preguntas sobre la inflación. Estaba echando la culpa, una vez más, a Joe Biden. Dice que le ha dejado la peor inflación en 48 años, pero que los precios empiezan a bajar. Dice que sobre todo están recortando, están bajando los precios de la energía y que luego viene detrás todo lo demás. Vamos a seguir escuchando los mensajes, las respuestas de Donald Trump.
She deserted us. She deserted me. Our great Caroline superstar deserted me. Anyway, she's right outside. She was going to talk about it because the fake news yesterday, they talked about that. They said, oh, I don't want to talk about affordability. The reason I don't want to talk about affordability is because everybody knows that it's far less expensive under Trump than it was under Sleepy Joe Biden. And the prices are way down. Caroline?
Yes, sir.
Could you discuss that question that was asked and how it was asked in such a fake, disgusting manner by the fake news?
Yeah, and I just saw it asked again here, and it's very unfortunate that the reporters in this room refused to address, sir, what you just said, which is that you inherited the worst inflation crisis in modern American history, and you are fixing it in 10 short months. And your entire administration has been tasked with this effort, from Treasury Department to Agriculture Department to the National Economic Council right here at the White House. They are slashing regulation. He signed the largest middle-class tax cut in 6 months. In 6 months, in record time, putting more money back into the American people's pockets. So affordability is what the American people elected this president to do, and he is doing it, and you guys refuse to cover it, and you refuse to cover that the previous administration created the worst unaffordability crisis in American history. And I've been watching the TV all day saying that he doesn't want to talk about affordability. That's what he's working on every day, and that's what this administration is doing.
But you know why they refuse to cover it?
Can I get
Because
her
they're
for
fake
someone?
news, that's why. Go
Can I
ahead.
get her someone?
Sure. Caroline, the Prime Minister would like you to work for him in Hungary.
Please consider. Please consider.
You know what? That's a very good decision you just made. Please don't leave us, Caroline. Yeah, please.
You spoke to Republican senators. They do not seem interested right now in getting rid of the filibuster.
That's too bad. They're making a big mistake. That's right. No, but they're coming my way. You're right. Wait a minute. The way to do it for the Republicans is to terminate the filibuster. They call it the nuclear option. This is the second form of nuclear. Very good, very good. This is a good form. This is not a bad form. I would have been in favor of that a long time ago, but you know the Democrats are going to do that. And most of you will admit the Democrats are going to do that, so why aren't we doing it? And I think only a foolish person would be against that, especially when you realize that these are crazed people. These people are absolutely crazed, Trump derangement syndrome, whatever it may be. And I am totally in favor of terminating the filibuster. And we would be back to work within 10 minutes after that vote took place. And lots of other good things would happen. And it doesn't make any sense that a Republican would not want to do that.
If they're not going to do that, then it seems like you'd have to make a deal with Democrats to end the shutdown.
Here's some of the things that we'd pass if we terminated the filibuster. Voter ID, no mail-in voting, no cash bail, no men and women's sports, no welfare for illegals. You could go on and on. This is 2 pages of things we'd do if you did that. Without it, I don't know that you passed anything because you can't deal with them. They're really irrational. They really are. But I was happy to see that a tremendous liability to this country. A woman that made herself rich in this country, Nancy Pelosi, has quit, and she'll be out of here pretty soon. And that I consider that to be a great asset for America, getting her out. Yeah, please go.
Are you really going to deal with Democrats? You're not interested in it?
I don't know. We'll see what they have. I mean, we'll see. But they're very destructive for the country. NBC, fake news. I'm not taking you. Go ahead.
President, are you worried about it backfiring in the future on Republicans? Should they get rid of the filibuster and then down the road?
Well, normally I would say, well, a little bit. But the reason that I'm not is because if they ever took over power, they'll do it. Look, Joe Manchin and Sinema are two people that are no longer in politics because of this issue. They were opposed to what the Democrats wanted to do. They wanted to terminate the filibuster. They were opposed to it. They're no longer in politics. They're gone. The Democrats will do this. So if the Democrats are going to do it, I'm saying Republicans should do it before they get a chance. It's very simple. And if we do it, we will never lose the midterms and we will never lose the general election because we will have produced so many different things for our people, for the country, that it would be impossible to lose an election.
Seguimos escuchando a Donald Trump, al presidente de Estados Unidos, hablando sobre este filibuster, sobre este obstruccionismo que hay ante el cierre del gobierno en Estados Unidos. Dice Trump que los republicanos deben darse cuenta que esta es la opción nuclear, que si no, los demócratas lo van a hacer y los republicanos, dice, van a estar en peligro tanto en las elecciones de medio término como en las próximas elecciones de 2028. Trump advierte a los republicanos. Seguimos escuchando al presidente de Estados Unidos.
To rebuild and build electric plants along with their facility. We're getting approvals done in less than a month, sometimes in 2 weeks, for massive, beautiful, massive buildings. And no, I'm totally in favor of it. I think it's really going to be the wave of the future, and we're leading the world. We're leading everybody by a lot.
How long do you think the shutdown will last? President, how long do you think the shutdown will last?
I don't know. It's up to the Democrats. We voted, the Republicans have voted 14 times to open up the country, and the Democrats have voted 14 times to hurt the country, really. They should approve it, but they might not. That's why I like the fact that we terminate the filibuster. If we terminate the filibuster, the country will be open within 10 minutes after that termination because we'll take a second vote, which is the opening of the country, and the Republicans will vote to open the country. That's one of the reasons, not the major reason, by the way. I think it's less important than the other things that we get. But if we terminate the filibuster, the second vote that we will take will be to open up the country. It'll take 10 minutes and the country will be open.
Is there any room for bipartisanship? Because it seems like that's the main purpose of the filibuster, is to create some sort of compromise. So
Well, it didn't work, obviously.
So
You're right. That was the purpose of the filibuster, bipartisanship, but that didn't work.
So are you saying the next 3 years in Washington there shouldn't be?
Well, no. If the filibuster is terminated, we will have the most productive 3 years in the history of our country. If the filibuster is not terminated, then we will be in a slog with the Democrats, and very little for either party will be done. So it's a good thing. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much.
Hasta aquí ha llegado esta reunión bilateral de Donald Trump con Víctor Orbán hablando sobre la guerra en Ucrania. Dice que va a terminar en un futuro no muy lejano. Dice que mantiene su reunión con el presidente ruso Vladimir Putin. Dice que quiere que se celebre en Budapest, pero que hay un escollo, hay un problema. Y es que el presidente ruso todavía no quiere terminar la guerra. Ha tenido tiempo para lanzar mensajes a los países europeos. Decía, por cierto, el propio Víctor Orbán que, pues que no estaba ahí para que Trump solucionara sus problemas con la Unión Europea. Decía Trump que tiene muy buenos amigos en Europa, pero que su mejor amigo es Víctor Orbán. Advertía a los países europeos sobre el problema con la inmigración. Decía, pues que Víctor Orbán es un ejemplo en este sentido, y también terminaba hablando sobre este cierre del gobierno en Estados Unidos. Dice que la culpa es de los demócratas y que además los republicanos tienen que moverse ya. Habla de este filibuster, este obstruccionismo que debe terminar en Estados Unidos. Muy pendientes de este discurso por parte de Donald Trump. Nosotros vamos también con últimas horas, que en este caso conciernen otro de los aliados del presidente estadounidense. Ponemos el foco en Benjamín Netanyahu, el primer ministro de Israel, y es que Según la última hora, los fiscales de Turquía han emitido una orden de arresto contra el primer ministro israelí Benjamin Netanyahu en medio de las tensiones diplomáticas entre ambos países. Este hecho marca un episodio inédito que podría complicar aún más las relaciones bilaterales y generar repercusiones internacionales. Los fiscales en Turquía han emitido hace apenas unos minutos una orden de arresto contra Benjamin Netanyahu después de que se dijera que Turquía no podía participar en estas fuerzas de paz en Gaza, con Erdogan, que ha lanzado duros mensajes contra Netanyahu desde el principio de este conflicto. Ahora tenemos nuevo episodio. Los fiscales turcos emiten una orden de arresto en contra de Netanyahu. Muy pendientes de esta última hora, muy pendientes de la geopolítica. Vamos a hacer una pausa y enseguida volvemos con más análisis, con más expertos. Negocios Televisión. Que almacena datos es que la red de blockchain se ejecuta en múltiples ordenadores distribuidos por todo el mundo y no en un sitio único. Esto hace que la red blockchain presente una serie de ventajas como la privacidad, la descentralización o la no dependencia de un ejecutor centralizado o la seguridad. Hay 4 tipos de blockchain. Por ejemplo, hay una blockchain pública, también conocida como sin permisos, que es aquella en la que cualquiera puede participar sin restricciones. Suele ser la más común en las criptomonedas. También hay blockchains privadas que permite a las organizaciones establecer controles sobre quién puede acceder a ella. Hay blockchains híbridas que combinan las características de las dos anteriores. Las organizaciones pueden establecer un sistema privado basado en permisos junto a uno público sin ellos. Y por último también hay blockchains federadas, cuando el proceso de consenso es controlado por un conjunto preseleccionado de nodos o de partes interesadas. Por último, vamos a comentar los beneficios de la blockchain, y es que ofrece grandes ventajas comerciales que ayudan a las compañías de muchas formas, como por ejemplo da más confianza entre las partes implicadas al ofrecer datos fiables y compartidos, reduce la necesidad de intermediarios externos, ofrece mayor seguridad, pues todos los miembros de la red deben llegar a un acuerdo sobre la precisión de los datos y las transacciones validadas son inalterables. También crea un registro a prueba de manipulaciones en tiempo real.
A ti también, buen día y nada, a disfrutar y a trabajar. Abrazo.
¿Cómo que no hay que desregular? Sí, sí que hay que desregular. Donde una regulación excesiva esté frenando el crecimiento, esté frenando el progreso, esté frenando la innovación, no es simplificar, es desregular. ¿Por qué? Porque si no nos van a comer en Europa. Aquí los estadounidenses, los chinos, los mexicanos, los egipcios y todo que pille por el camino. Esto ayuda a que la innovación tome un camino seguro y prospere. No, si no hay innovación, ni prospera, no hay camino. No hay camino seguro, no hay camino, no hay nada, no hay nada. Ya verán el lío que van a montar. Van a hacernos un trampantojo espectacular para decirnos que todo ha cambiado cuando en realidad nada ha cambiado. Y además nos lo está diciendo directamente a la cara. Es desregular. ¿Por qué? Porque os habéis pasado regulando. Es que lo dice Draghi, no dice simplificar en lugar de desregular. No, dice o hacéis resultados en meses y no en años, o esto se está poniendo cada vez más feo. Estamos peor que hace un año cuando llegó el plan. No simplifiques, desregula, desregula.
Muy buenas tardes, bienvenidos un día más a Todo es Geopolítica, bienvenidos al programa en el que contamos, repasamos, pero sobre todo, como siempre, analizamos todo lo que está pasando en el tablero geopolítico en una semana de escalada nuclear con Donald Trump, que hablaba de pruebas nucleares, con Estados Unidos lanzando un misil balístico con capacidad nuclear. Llegó la respuesta por parte del Kremlin. El presidente ruso, Vladimir Putin, reunía a su Consejo de Seguridad diciendo, bueno, pues que hay que evaluar, hay que sopesar si conviene o no reanudar estos ensayos nucleares. Enseguida vamos a contarles la última respuesta por parte del Kremlin. También vamos a mirar a lo que dice China en un momento en el que el foco está puesto en lo que sucede en Prokrovsk. Hemos escuchado a Zelensky hace escasos minutos también hablando precisamente sobre esta batalla clave, fundamental para el devenir del conflicto en Ucrania, en un momento en el que también hay que poner el foco en Venezuela, con informaciones que hablan de un supuesto plan de huida de Nicolás Maduro y con Donald Trump, que tiene varias opciones para intentar terminar con el régimen de Maduro. Enseguida vamos a analizar estas cuestiones, pero antes vamos a mirar a las últimas horas. Antes les contamos que la portavoz del Ministerio de Asuntos Exteriores ruso, María Zaharova, decía que Moscú vigila de cerca las actividades nucleares de Estados Unidos. Dice que los organismos competentes supervisan con atención las actividades nucleares de Estados Unidos y de otros países. Dice que esto se aplica a las pruebas de armas estratégicas ofensivas del arsenal estadounidense. Dice además que Washington debe aclarar sus intenciones con respecto a esta reanudación de las pruebas de su propio arsenal nuclear. Esto se produce después de que Estados Unidos, como les contamos, probara un misil balístico intercontinental Minuteman III desarmado y con capacidad nuclear desde la base de la Fuerza Espacial Vandenberg en California, siguiendo de esta forma los planes de Donald Trump. Con el foco puesto en Prokrovsk, pero mirando también a las alertas por parte de la OTAN. En Alemania dicen que Rusia tiene capacidad para realizar un ataque limitado contra territorio OTAN en cualquier momento, pero dice que la decisión de actuar dependerá de la postura de los aliados occidentales. Dice que si se analizan las capacidades y el poder de combate actual de Rusia, podría lanzar un ataque a pequeña escala contra territorio OTAN mañana mismo. Es lo que decía hoy el teniente general Alexander Solfrank en una entrevista a la agencia Reuters. Y mientras tanto nosotros miramos a Venezuela. Según The Atlantic, Maduro habría abierto la puerta para abandonar el poder si le ofrecen amnistía tanto a él como a su alto mando militar. Eliminan las recompensas por su captura y les aseguran un exilio cómodo. La administración Trump reconocía ante el Congreso que no puede justificar de momento un futuro ataque a Venezuela. Afirmaba que por ahora no planea incursiones en ese país dentro de su campaña militar contra el narcotráfico. Los secretarios de Estado, Marco Rubio, y de Guerra, Pete Hegseth, daban este miércoles detalles a los legisladores sobre los planes de la campaña de Donald Trump, que ha ordenado casi una veintena de ataques a supuestas lanchas en el Caribe y en el Pacífico, donde ya han fallecido más de 60 personas. Pendientes de Venezuela, de este conflicto en Ucrania, de la tensión también entre China y Estados Unidos, nosotros vamos ya con el análisis, vamos ya con los expertos y contamos con Marcelo Ramírez, analista geopolítico y de asuntos militares. ¿Qué tal, Marcelo? Muy buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
Tenemos también a Cristian López, analista de política internacional. ¿Qué tal? Muy buenas, Cristian. Buenas tardes.
¿Qué tal? Buenas tardes a todos.
Y por último presentamos a José Luis Orella, profesor en la Universidad CEU San Pablo. ¿Qué tal, José Luis? Muy buenas tardes.
Muy buenas tardes, es un placer.
Encantados de teneros a los tres por aquí, sobre todo, bueno, pues deseando saber ya vuestra opinión, vuestra valoración sobre esta semana nuclear, se puede decir, esta semana de escalada nuclear entre Rusia, Estados Unidos, China, que dice que no le pueden meter en el mismo saco, que su arsenal es muchísimo menor. Te quiero preguntar por esto, José Luis, ¿cómo ves esta tensión nuclear entre Rusia y Estados Unidos y cuánto tiene que ver con lo que comentaba yo antes, ¿no?, con la situación crítica que se vive en Prokrovsk?
Hombre, tiene su relación, ¿no? O sea, cada uno está enseñando claramente cuáles son los ases de la baraja y, en realidad, cuál es el peso que tienen como verdaderas potencias en ese nuevo orden internacional. Estados Unidos, pues claramente está demostrando cuál es su potencial y Rusia claramente está también del mismo modo respondiendo, diciendo, oiga, yo no soy una potencia más, soy la heredera de la antigua Unión Soviética y dispongo de un arsenal que, en fin, ¿no?, puedo hacer mucho daño en el caso de que se me ataque. Por tanto, exijo el mismo respeto que se merece una potencia de este nivel, ¿no? O sea, estamos buscando la exclusiva de un club en el cual muy pocos socios pueden entrar, ¿no? Se lo ha incluido a China, porque China en otras áreas, en otros ámbitos, está demostrando claramente su potencialidad, que está allí, que es la gran potencia no solo ya del futuro, sino del presente. Ha doblegado a Estados Unidos en otros ámbitos, como en los acuerdos económicos, aunque quiera llevar un nivel más bajo porque todavía está en ese proceso de crecimiento, de transformación y por tanto de crecimiento a nivel de Fuerzas Armadas. Lo es muy importante, pero lo está demostrando, bueno, pues como su armamento se visualizó en el enfrentamiento entre Pakistán y la India, bueno, y de repente todo el mundo vio la calidad del armamento chino, ¿no? Así que prefieren los chinos no ir muy de más grandes de lo que son, sino por el contrario, ir con un perfil más bajo un poco en ese aspecto. Así que están demostrando quiénes son los que verdaderamente tienen un tamaño y en el cual, bueno, pues como vemos, potencias nucleares como podrían ser Francia o como Gran Bretaña, ni se les ve, ni se les espera, ni se cuenta precisamente con ellos, ¿no? Así que estamos en un club muy privado en el cual cada uno demuestra, bueno, que solo Rusia y Estados Unidos juntos pueden destruir pues la Tierra 150 veces, como lo ha dicho el presidente estadounidense alguna vez, ¿no? Así que, por tanto, bueno, pueden llegar a ciertos acuerdos para, bueno, descongelar un poco esa situación entre fuertes. Los demás no pintan nada en boga en ese aspecto. Y claramente, pues Pokrovsk, bueno, pues es un desengaño pues para Ucrania, que ha intentado por todos los medios y realizar contraataques, intentar, bueno, dar una imagen de ralentización de ese frente, de que, bueno, esas reservas rusas se agotan rápidamente un poco en sus ataques, pero lo que se está demostrando es que también hay una profunda agilidad, que la inmensidad de la largura de ese frente los ucranianos no tienen capacidad para cubrirlo, y allí donde desaparecen para cubrir un ataque ruso, los rusos pues avanzan por ese lado, en cuanto van a taponarlo avanzan por el otro, y cuando se fijan en algunos objetivos, como podemos estar hablando de Pokrovsk ahora, que ya se puede decir en un 85% su casco urbano ya está bajo control armado ruso, y estamos viendo, bueno, pues como ya se van rindiendo los centenares de soldados ucranianos según se van quedando sin posibilidades logísticas de abastecimiento, bueno, pues se va a convertir en una de esas victorias importantes en las cuales, bueno, a partir de aquí y también de lo de Kupiansk, bueno, pues ¿qué puede pasar, no? Porque claro, el Donetsk se va a quedar reducido al eje de Slaviansk y Kramatorsk, y por tanto, bueno, pues el Donetsk casi va a estar ya circunscrito a unas tenazas potentísimas con toda la concentración de las fuerzas rusas en torno a esas ciudades y la capacidad que van a tener los ucranianos de acumular lo que les queda de sus reservas en unas batallas finales que más o menos pues van a mantener, bueno, pues un frente posteriormente estable cuando caiga el invierno. Quedan muy pocas semanas para que se pueda estabilizar, y claro, cuando se quede congelado literalmente en todos los aspectos ese frente, pues los rusos van a culminar con varias victorias y con varias tomas de los centros urbanos, que es lo que están en todo momento los ucranianos intentando evitar, para dar una imagen de un ejército ruso que avanza muy lentamente, que tiene escasos recursos y que no puede con ello, ¿no? Entonces estamos un poco en esa tirantez, en esa rivalidad armada en la cual, bueno, pues al final es la apuesta última de las grandes potencias, Estados Unidos y Rusia, las que van a decidir finalmente si el conflicto sigue o el conflicto no sigue, ¿no?
Bueno, pues semanas, momentos decisivos para este conflicto en Ucrania, en un momento en el que nosotros vamos a mirar a últimas horas y vamos a hablar en este caso de Rusia, donde, según acabamos de conocer, se ha producido una tragedia. Se habla de un accidente de helicóptero en Dagestán que ha dejado al menos 4 fallecidos y 3 heridos. Un helicóptero K-226 que supuestamente transportaba turistas se ha estrellado en un complejo turístico cerca de Izberbaz, en Dagestán, dejando al menos 4 de los 7 pasajeros fallecidos, es lo que informan los medios locales este viernes. El helicóptero se ha estrellado cerca de la zona turística de Zemchusina cuando cubría la ruta entre Kislear y Izberbaz. Los heridos están siendo trasladados a un centro médico. Los informes añaden que el helicóptero ha destruido una casa privada y vacía en tierra. Hablamos de 4 fallecidos en un accidente de helicóptero en Dagestán. Se habla de que las otras 3 víctimas se encuentran en estado grave. El ministro de Salud de Dagestán está informando de que un helicóptero se ha estrellado cerca de la aldea de Achisú. 4 personas han fallecido, 1 está en estado crítico y 2 en estado grave. Es lo que está informando ahora mismo la agencia TASS. Muy atentos a esta tragedia en Rusia, este accidente de helicóptero en Dagestán. Nosotros vamos a seguir hablando de Rusia, pero también de Estados Unidos, de China, de esta escalada nuclear, Cristian, que, bueno,